A lot of live-in relationships happening. A concept of marriage is changing here. People don't want to commit.
Yeah.
Now, your take on it. Your take on why people don't want to commit.
Well, if you see your parents are very unhappily married, that is what marriage means to you. You know, I was working with Stephen Bartlett, and he said to me, marriage was always a prison because my mother couldn't leave. So we learn what we live. So imagine, male or female, you've seen a relationship that isn't good. You think, I don't want that. And rather than saying, oh, I don't want that because I can choose someone better, your brain links all the pain to being married. When you experience pain, your brain searches for it. If you've ever had food poisoning, oh, I'll never eat that again. And actually 10 years later, you still can't. But if you see unhappy marriages, you link pain to, I don't want that. And then, of course, you know, it wasn't that long ago, certainly my grandmother, even my mother's era, where a woman, you know, men could be successful. We did all the stuff for them. They did everything. They could go out and work, and we did everything, raised the kids, looked after the home, and we think, oh, I can do this for myself. So now women want a career, and they don't want to just support a man because it's not enough for them. And so a lot of women think, oh, what's in it for me?
Yep.
And they see something and think, well, I don't really think I like that very much. So we are seeing marriage as not that thing about the man was the provider, the woman was subservient. Yep. That's all gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Women want to be equal, and they say, I want the same. But the men don't say, well, I'll stay at home and support you. I'll look after the house and the children. So we've got a bit of a disconnect. And then we hear, you know, all these songs about, you know, all these stories, you get married and you live happily ever after. We're now living into 110. So what worked for you at 25 may not work for you at 55. And we don't ask, sorry, we go, oh, is this person gorgeous? Are they sexy and passionate? We should be asking some of this, are they interesting? Are they kind? Are they intelligent? Could I spend my whole life with this person? Because for a relationship to survive, you have to have best friend chemistry and sexual chemistry and deep respect and admiration. Some people say, well, I've got the best friend chemistry, but the sex is terrible. Others say, we don't even have sex. Others say, oh, the sex is great. I don't actually really like this person, but the sex is very binding. So you've got to have all three, especially in the beginning. You've got to have best friend chemistry, which doesn't mean you go to the nail bar with them, but if I was going to a desert island, my husband is coming with me because he is my best friend. So you've got to have that. You have to have sexual chemistry. And that isn't just happening. You might have to do some work. What are you like? What are they like? Are you compatible? Can we make this work together by expressing what we need and like? And then the respect and admiration means you never roll your eyes at their jokes or dismiss them in front of your friends or bitch about them to your family because you respect them. And if you have all those three things, your marriage will last forever. But no, people just say, oh, this person's got nice hair. They got a nice house. They got a great body. They've got some money. That's the one. And you're asking the wrong questions. But if you ask the right questions...
I just love the way you broke up the three things you need for any relationship to work. Yeah. Best friend chemistry, sexual chemistry, and mutual admiration, respect.
And respect, yeah. And if you have that, you'll stay married for 60 or 70 or 80 years. And people who've got great marriages always have that. They'll show you, that's what they have.
That's a great way you dissected it. So let's go back to what we spoke, live-in relationship. It's not right or wrong. There's no judgment call here. You're saying they've seen their parents, they've seen the world, and they made a call to themselves saying that I don't want to commit because I don't think seeing that is working.
Yeah.
This is much better because I can get in and get out.
Yeah.
Now, getting in and getting out, casual sex, let's go to that.
Mm-hmm.
How does it, because is love missing there and it's only an act, how does that fit in? What happens in future when you do only casual sex?
Well, for some people, it's like a sport, isn't it? Sex is like sport, and it's fun, and there's no commitment. The problem is if you have sex with someone a lot, especially a woman, you start to fall for them. So women tend to need emotion in order to have sex, and men need sex to feel emotion. So it's a slight disconnect. But when you have sex with someone a lot, you often get very bonded to them. So casual sex isn't always bad if it's with the same person. Yes, but if it's with different people, you're never going to have a chance to get emotionally connected. And after a while, meaningless sex is meaningless sex. I've worked with a lot of rock stars. They'll say, I'm actually really bored. I just want someone. Same with the football. They go, I can have a different girl every night, but it's nothing. It's like saying I can have a 5-star gourmet meal every night. Now I'm craving a pizza because I'm bored with it. Because we are as human beings, wired for connection. From the minute we're born, we are hardwired to find connection, avoid rejection. And there's nothing more beautiful than finding someone you love and making a life with them. So it's fine when you're young to have a few partners and find out what you like. But if you're still doing that for 10 or 15 years, the saddest men I've ever seen are those who never got married. And so casual sex is fine. It's okay. But it's only for a little while. The best thing in the world is waking up with someone who loves you, going to sleep with someone who loves you, you know, getting off a plane to someone who's waiting for you, going home to someone who loves you. Because our greatest moments are spent with people that we love, that love us. And when we talk to people whose life is ending, they'll say my best moments, the day I got married, the day my son was born, being with my partner. No one says, oh, it's when I got that $1 billion deal. $1 billion deal is lovely, but everything you want, without exceptions, because of how it makes you feel. Why do you want Gucci shoes? Why do you want a Ferrari? Why do you want a Prada handbag?
Yeah.
Because of how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
But what you really want is to feel loved. There's nothing like feeling loved. You know, finding the person and creating the family if you want that, or just finding the person, someone who has your back.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
I agree, Marisa. You're married. I know I met John. I'm married for 17 years. After a long day, I just want to go back home, have the chat with my wife, Shiny. And that's priceless.
Priceless,
Just priceless. You just want to go back for that chat. Nothing else. Just sit. Sometimes no conversation. Just sit next to each other. Just read a piece of paper. Because you long for the connection.
Yeah,
and that grounds you.
Yeah. You know, our DNA requires connection, and we're creating a world of disconnection. I can get in a WeGov taxi, go to the bank, there's no one there. Go to the store, there's no one there. I even went to an airport recently, they were all robots. It was very odd. But our DNA requires connection, and when we get disconnected, we become very unhappy. And so connection makes our hearts sing. And there are people who say, you know, I never got married, I never had children, I built a business. But most, not all, but most of them, at the end of their life say, oh, actually, that business didn't cuddle me when I was sick. That business didn't wrap their arms. That business didn't look after me. That business didn't spend Christmas Day and New Year's and Valentine's Day with me. So we've got to get back to love.
Yeah, the biggest regret is when you hit the bed every night. You might have money, you might have fame. People might think 100 things about you, but deep down you feel lonely and you don't have connection. I think that's very, very sad.
And I've been working with a lot of billionaires recently, and I saw something very interesting, which is the isolation of super wealth. They're isolated, and if they've inherited, they have a lot of shame and guilt too, because they got it so easy, and they start to actually get rid of it. I was at a billionaire's house recently. I thought, gosh, I would never want this life. I mean, you must have had 40 staff, and it was all just, but none of it was real. I couldn't wait to go home to my much smaller house and my much happier husband, because, you know, we always must go back to love. Who loves me? Who do I love? Have I got love in my life? Do I have a partner that I love? Do I have a family? Do I have friends who love me? Because if you wake up without that, you haven't got anything. You know, this expression, some people are so poor, all they've got is money.